Before we go too far into this, Roger wanted us to introduce everybody. So if you don't know already who Tristan Ahumada is, Tristan is the leader of Lab Coat Agents, great real estate agent out in the beautiful area of Malibu, California. And you run Brilliant Tribe too, right?
Yeah.
I get your emails all the time, and they're always feel-good emails. So I like getting them because I usually get them at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, man, I feel really good now after this. So I read your emails. It gets my day started on a good path, and then it usually goes to shit from there. But that's a different story. At least you get my mornings started. Randy is he's the channel manager over at Chime Technologies. So if you have any Chime related questions, Randy is your guy. And I'm some guy that they found that actually uses the platform and somehow helps put webinars on. No, I was a real estate agent for a long time up in the Eastern Washington area. And now I do things like this to help other people succeed in the real estate business. And then Buster is an amazing real estate agent out in the Tampa Bay area and does some really cool stuff out there. And I'm really excited to have him on the webinar with us today. So there you go. Hopefully that helps, Roger.
That was good, Brett. Thanks, man. And Roger, thank you for asking, because sometimes we just dive right into this. Buster, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here as one of the presenters.
You are the presenter today, Buster. It's all you, sir.
That's it.
It's all you, Buster. We're all to just sit back and just let you talk for a while. So enjoy.
Well, that sounds good. I might have to be reeled in at times. So definitely keep me on track. Hence the email I sent you guys with just something to kind of like my listing presentation to keep me at the bullet points to make sure I cover everything. So sorry about the delay. It was trying to get me in to sign in. Maybe the emails were different some reason, but whatever. But I'll get right into it. I mean, first of all, I do appreciate the opportunity. Thanks for recommending me, Brett. I definitely have the feeling of not being worthy, of being on this with you superstars. And, here's my coach that's on here and one of my mentors and Tristan, and just amazing to just be part of this. I've done another one of these one time with another company, but just a real honor to be here. So thank you for having me.
Love having you, man.
We're on
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, go ahead.
I was going to say, talk to us about how you use Chime to basically work the big thing here, right? And this is the part that I really want to cover with you. What's the purpose of your website and going through your dead leads? Like, how do you use Chime for dead leads? And then really describe to us what you consider a dead lead.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about it. And I mean, like I put in my thing I sent, what's the purpose of a CRM in the first place or website? And somebody had asked me that in another class or something. And you say all these things, but it's to basically make face-to-face appointments, whether they're in person, they're Zoom or virtual, whatever, that the whole purpose and premise of a CRM and a database is to set up and make face-to-face appointments. A lot of times I think we lose sight of that. And as my dad told me in the insurance business at age 13, that appointments are the lifeblood of the business, as they are in any sales business. And so if you don't have any appointments on the books, you're basically out of business. There's so much we can get wrapped around in this business that we don't keep sight of that trying to make one at least a day. So dead leads, I moved over to Chime a few years ago. I followed Brett. He convinced me that it was a better system. And so I moved over, and, one of the things I was good at was just doing Facebook advertising. I understood the timeline difference between the dreamers, as Brett calls them, that are just looking and there's no intent there. And I've been doing Google pay-per-click since 2005. I became an advertising professional. And so I understood that was a quicker buy, and I knew that Zillow was out there. And so, but I could get, dollar leads with Chime. I could do just a property landing page. I could literally just punch in the MLS number in Chime on my own site, do a search, have it come up, and then that page, I'd click on it, and the landing page there, I would just copy and paste that link into Facebook. And then I would dress it up, a couple of emojis, check out this new listing or whatever, whether it was mine or somebody else's. I always had permission to market new homes or condos or this and that of other builders and that kind of thing. Could just pop it on there, do a little boost. And, sure enough, I was getting dollar leads that were name, number, and, no form, no Zapier, no nothing, just right into the real, into the Chime format. So I was really good at doing that. I'd create some leads or whatever, but that seemed to perform the best. I'd create some landing pages, and that kind of thing, but that one property landing page. And then you were talking to them about that particular property, not if they were doing a search, hey, when you want to see it, that kind of thing. And I just was able to create massive amount of leads. I had some agents that in 18, I'd done a team going wrong. I kind of had to split up my team, start from scratch. And so I kept trying to bring on like a buyer agent, those kind of things. And just nobody would really follow up the way that I knew they needed to, enough times, those kind of things. And so I was just creating all these leads in my Chime site. And I knew that, hey, $1.25 a pop. I know they might be 12, 18 months out, but if I can put them in there, nurture them, this is before the AI bot came out, then I was willing to just take that chance and just stock it full of those people, because I had leads from years before that I knew people hadn't followed up with. Well, they're 18, 24 months out. Well, guess what? I had leads from 5, 6 years ago that they were all percolating through there, and I wound up in a very fortunate position. So I've used the Mojo dialer. I've used Vortex with RedX. I actually pay for 3 dialers right now, and I'm just a individual with one, helper and that kind of thing, and just some part-timers. But I had to leverage technology, and I really like the Chime dialer compared to the others. Do the single line dialer. So we had all these leads. I pulled it up, and I was able to say, okay, give me the ones that weren't contacted, do an advanced filter search in Chime, pull out everybody. We tag them, either these ABC leads or whatever. So I said, exclude any ones that get that tag, exclude any ones that have a dead tag. So as we go through them and we slap a dead tag on there, we bag them and tag them, so to speak. So we, slap the tag on there, and as we're doing it, it's whittling down that list. So we take that 3,000 a few months ago and we start loading up. We organize them by the score in Chime. And of course, we take the best ones at the top, load about 100 in there, and, make contact with the auto text afterward. And we just started churning through those leads about 4 months ago. And we have our system of 15 contacts a day, from the right pools, trying to make that one appointment. And we've just been knocking the socks off of that system of those contacts, but it's evolving, and again, the thousands are there. Like I put at the end of the day, we have like 75 to 125 million, the percentage that we would do of business. Even if we did 10% of the business at a 2.5% commission rate, it's something like 250,000 of potential GCI. And again, that's from 4 months of going through a list of 3,000 that I feel like a lot of people probably have that same situation. They had leads, they have them sitting in there, they haven't gone through them. We did it, we texted them, we workflowed them. Brett's got a great workflow that he sends that says, hey, are you still in the market to buy in 21? There's still time. Then you send a follow-up text, says, let me know. And we just got so much response from that. And so people say, people don't answer the phone, they don't pick up, they don't do this, and all these reasons why not to get on the phone. And I think it's quite the opposite today, that people are almost looking forward to speaking to somebody on the phone. Nobody's offering that personalized customer service. And if you do that, then, and basically that's what we try to do. Our luxury homes and living brand is more about luxury service than it is luxury real estate. Because at the end of the day, doesn't everybody want the luxury treatment? So for us, the luxury treatment, we make that decision wherever they come in from. Is this somebody we want to give the luxury treatment to, no matter if they're 150 or 500 or 2 million? And that simply means getting them into Chime, doing the market report, doing a market snapshot, property alert if need be. And once those three things are done, I mean, literally like a 10, 15-minute thing, they've gotten the luxury treatment, that they're going to get that, and that consistent monthly, weekly, depending on how close they are and that kind of thing. And so that's how we've been able to do it. I think I kind of covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
I got to cut you off for a second because I need people to understand what you say about the luxury treatment. So for those that don't know, Buster actually worked a friend of mine. My friend John moved out to his area, and he ended up working with John. And when I got a phone call from John that basically said, like, dude, I'm not buying that expensive of a place, but it feels like I'm buying a multi-million-dollar mansion out here, in the way that Buster the way he treats his clients, it doesn't matter where they fall in the price point. He treats everybody the same way. And then this isn't something he just says that he gives the luxury treatment. He gives the luxury treatment. He treats you like a luxury client, even if you're buying a weird RV park. He treats you like you're a luxury client. One of the things, though, Buster, that I really was hoping that you would talk about here a little bit on this is how you use Facebook, Instagram stories, how you're using the newer technology. Because I think very few people are actually able to talk about this. And when someone takes something and just does it like you've done with you've done it with, God, you have, how many different series do you have right now for video series? Don't you have Spotlight on Tampa Bay? Don't you have like 4 or 5 different things that you have going on?
Well, the experience Tampa Bay, and I have like 4 or 5 experience areas like the Emerald Coast. That's my expansion. It's my spotlight, so to speak.
Yeah.
I just did experience the high country. I was up in North Carolina and I kept seeing high country everywhere, but it's pulling in and it's helping, it's the digital mayor thing, and it's helping the business owners promoting all that stuff. And all ties into there's luxury real estate everywhere, and there's real estate everywhere that, again, whoever's that person that ends up being the face of that group and that brand is going to be successful in whatever they do.
How are you using
I'd like to
Instagram
point out here
stories?
real quick,
Go ahead,
if you don't mind, Brett. Buster, what you did required, or what you do, I should say, requires like a certain mindset, right? So first, it requires a lot of patience. There's not a lot of patience in this industry to pay for leads that are 12 to 18 months out, right? Generally speaking, or, call it 9 to 12 months. It doesn't really matter. There's very little patience. And those leads, like you also mentioned, are very cheap and come in a large amount of volume. So you need patience, and then you need organizational skills in order to be able to identify which of those leads in that huge volume are actually going to be people who convert and buy homes. So obviously you use Chime, but I'd like to hear a little bit more about the tool specifically you're using to dig out some of those opportunities and find those home buyers amongst that volume of dreamers.
Okay, and I'll get back to the Instagram question for you in a second, Brett, because that's some helpful.
This is good.
Yeah, on that, the tools. I'm somebody that I'm a believer in. I'm going to use the CRM for every. People use typically less than 5%. I'm going to use it for as much as I can and try to stay in-house without having to go to all the additional things. I'd come from a Real Geeks background, and that one was. That's what the owner used to say is, hey, you don't need to go do all these other things. And so I try to run, being a single agent and a small team, I try to run a very lean shop. So if I can do everything within Chime, then that's what I'm going to do. And even though I have a couple of dialers, we didn't do anything outside of it. In other words, we use the Chime dialer, put them all in there, use the Chime workflows. I mean, I paid for Adam Frank's workflows. Brett's been in there working on my site. We're moving toward the organic, with the AI bot. I mean, I'm trying to do everything tech-based. I'm trying to leverage technology and people to keep it as lean as possible. So really didn't use a follow-up boss or anything like that to complement. Like I'm a believer in, hey, let's keep it simple and lean until we absolutely absolutely have to go outside of that.
That makes sense. And so how do you identify which leads you're going to throw into the dialer? Like, is there a method to that madness?
There is. It's the uncontacted. You can put uncontacted, but that's kind of tricky in Chime. So I try to actually, because they'll even put the DNCs, they won't load into the dialer. And I don't know how to fix that, but I call those regardless, and so you got to manually do it. You got to slow down to manually do it. That's my problem. I won't slow down to do manual. I want to, go wide open and get through them. And so that's what we do. We just basically build. It's when you get really good at organizing the data, information technology, IT. It's about who can organize and utilize the data. The spoils go to that person. And I think those advanced searches and being able to filter out and have an evolving search that whittles the list down as you go, it's exciting for us. I feel like my leads is able to create 3,000 to be whittled down to 600 now. And to have all those, we call it a conversion, even though it's not a sale conversion. When it goes to just a lead to it convert, it's all about small conversions along the way. It's all of conversion processes. And that conversion from lead to actual prospect is when they've been spoken to, and then we've converted them into that prospect. And so that's kind of that initial, hey, do you need any assistance? Kind of whatever. And then that second round, and this is what we're learning, thanks to we've been through Dirk Zeller's training on the appointments. And we even lost sight, even though I lip service say appointments are the lifeblood of the business, we weren't asking for the appointments. And being through that training and now us asking for the appointments, it's been dynamite. I sat 4 last week, even having a short week, and sitting more phone consultations and Zoom. And just the simple fact of asking for the appointment, it's been a game changer, and it's like, wow, just that something that obvious, but it's clear to me. And I know that in the process, it won't be long before it really starts showing on the results of those appointments.
Hey, Buster, what
Yes,
leads do you put into the dialer?
I was putting mainly the ones that I've created in Facebook had not come from PPC or organic. They'd all been basically Facebook. When I could get those cheap leads, that was it.
So I want to share my screen with a lot of people, because what Buster does is you follow the whole 4 process on the dreamer, my little outline of where people fall in leads. And I've seen so far, I finally had some service on my cell phone yesterday, because I've been out in the middle of nowhere for the last week. I finally had some service. I went back to the group, because that's what I do in my spare time. I saw that a lot of people were having problems with contacting leads and understanding where the leads fall. And what Buster is talking about right now is, he had 3,000 leads that he whittled down, and he whittled those down based on where they fell in the process of where they are in their stages of buying. So I want to share my screen really fast, and I want to share with you, okay, the buyer evolution. Okay. And so a lot of people I see running ads on, they're running Facebook leads, or they're having Chime run Facebook leads, or they're having, some other company run Facebook leads. Doesn't matter where they go. And then there are other people that are running Google PPC leads. They're having Chime do PPC leads, Brian Short do PPC leads, whatever. Then there are other people that are using Zillow. And I want to break down here for you really fast. There are a few stages to the buying process. We have what's called the dreamer stage, right? And that's when they see an interruptive style ad, like what you get on Facebook. Facebook is an interruptive style ad. You don't log on to Facebook and think, I'm going to find a house on Facebook today. That's not how it works. Usually you're browsing Facebook and the interruptive style ad comes up and you go, man, that's a cool kitchen. And then you kind of go down what I call the rabbit hole. I do that a lot. I go down a lot of rabbit holes. And so, they go down the rabbit hole and all of a sudden it's wow, I wonder if we could buy something like this. So it's an interruptive style. They're in the dreamer stage. Most of the people that register on your site that are coming in and dreamer stage want to see a house. They want to buy a house. They don't know if it's a reality. They think it's a dream. Maybe one day they'll be able to do it. In the meantime, they just want to see the pretty houses. They want to see the kitchens. That's usually what sells that on them. Inquisitive is where you'll start getting more PPC leads in the inquisitive and then this can happen stage. Inquisitive is, what does our rent payment buy us? We don't want to be bombarded. We just want to see what we can buy monthly. Maybe they saw an ad on TV from one of the big portals. Maybe they saw some of your ads. Maybe they saw something you put out. Maybe they saw your Google PPC ad. Finally, we come into the this can happen stage. That's where they've seen the homes online. They've now moved online, offline. They want to kind of take that next step. That's where you start getting people to come in with a lender already. They've already got a pre-qualification, pre-approval. They already have that kind of stuff. They want to see the inside of those houses. They don't know if it can work yet, but they're willing to do a little bit more research. They're more likely to talk to you. And that, again, buyer evolution. They may not want to talk to you initially, but then when they start moving into the this can happen stage, now they want to start talking more. Along the way, you've got to be the one filling in. Then a lot of people give me a lot of crap because, yeah, I did a lot of Zillow back in the day. A lot of those leads were in the this is happening stage. They come in, they are ready to go. They've spoken to a lender. They have a pre-approval. They're ready to go buy a house. What Buster is doing with his leads, and this is just, Buster, this is off you and I talking over the years. This is off of you just saying what you just said on this webinar. But what it seems you're doing is you're getting a lot of dreamer and inquisitive leads. You're letting them kind of process a little bit. They're going through the buyer evolution. They're seeing properties. They're coming back to your website because that's what we're trying to do with them, getting back to your website. And now they're starting to move into this can happen stage. And when Buster's starting to reach out to them using the dialer, they're in the stage where they're now, hey, they've seen all the stuff that Buster's putting over to them. Buster's built a lot of trust with them. And now they're moving into the land of, okay, this is starting to happen. Now I'm willing to have a conversation with someone. Not I'm giving you the Mickey Mouse number. I'm giving you, 555-555-1212 or Jenny 8675309. You're not getting those numbers anymore because Buster's building a lot of trust on the front end. And now all these dreamers and the people that are inquisitive, they're now in the this can happen stage. And that's when Buster's reaching out. So that's why I want to show you real fast. That's the little thing I put together. But I mean, is that right, Buster?
Yeah, absolutely. Jeff Shore said it years ago that when he was giving his tour, buying the experience, and basically it's the department store. I'm just looking. People come into the site. They may put a fake number, but they want access. They'll put the right email. And they may be in that dreamer stage, but the right stuff. Even our dead leads, we had a fake account before, like the Pond or whatever. We had an old account, an agent named Dead Leads, but we renamed them Opportunity Leads because those people came back so many times. We had one yesterday, does a showing request. When they do that, that's when they've been percolating. They weren't ready to talk to somebody, and now they're ready, and they're ready to see something. And if you don't call them quick, they're going to get in touch with the listing agent. But if you get them and you show them, you'll go sell them that one particular home right there. So many times We've had that happen. So on the front end, just to wrap it up, I know timing and I started late. Instagram, Facebook, so many people's eyeballs are on there. I like doing a lot of the community stuff. Years ago, it was like people look for two things in a realtor. Number two, involvement in the community. Number one, they want the concierge to the service industry, the handyman, the painter. They want to know. They want you to know where to eat and those things. And it all comes back to the old digital mayor, Gary V. It's the one lady said local famous. I heard her giving a webinar the other day. Her daughter said, "Mom, you're local famous." But when you can get anything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want, per Zig Ziglar. And if you're looking and utilizing Chime, these community pages that we're starting to build, we'll do a domain like such and such living or live in or something about the community, like luxury homes and living, because it's more than a home. It's a lifestyle, and people are very interested as much in that lifestyle as they are the home. And so you have to kind of be the guy presenting that. So if you can build these little domain landing pages, kind of build a brand around it, like a localized, like in South Tampa, we've got Hyde Park Palmacia. I've got Palmacia Living, got Hyde Park Living. I've got little communities that I've built the brand, Instagram, Facebook, built a group, South Tampa Living, that all of it's connected through. And so, but it's promoting those local businesses, pictures, video of everything, and then you're that guy bringing it to everything. And so those communities ultimately, for me, we're going to do with Brett's help, we're going to build some really badass community pages that all the videos go to, and it become like South Tampa is awesome, the page to come to for community events, everything like that, and do that. But that's where you can really milk the Chime and start getting it organically, because a lot of the stuff that I did with the Facebook and the Powerland's got a lot more expensive, and the whole Apple thing with not showing the ads. I mean, it's what worked then is not working as much today. And I really believe you got to go with what Brett's doing, the organic and the video and everything like that. So I'm not the expert in that, but I'm learning and I'm paying attention. I'm doing what I'm told for the most part.
Okay, so we have a question that came through. Aside from engaging and following up with the stale leads, what else can we do to go after some stale leads? What works best? I'm gonna take this actually, and Buster, I'm gonna let you do your thing. And actually, I want to hear from Tristan too on this one.
Well, I put that whole thing you put, that little chart, buyer evolution. Yeah, I just posted it into Chime, and
I was gonna say, I shared it in there before. I'm more than willing to put it back in. If you want to put it back in there.
I gave you credit. Don't worry. It's all good. And it's a beautiful piece. So good job on that.
Dude, that wasn't even like the good version. Do you want me to send you the good version?
Dude, that was all grainy. Post up the good version right after.
Before I forget too, Brett, and I'm sure you're going to cover this, but building exporting those 3,000, building a Facebook audience and marketing, retargeting, not to steal your thunder, but retargeting those people, which I've been terrible about retargeting, but that's what Brett proved. My ground and pound method of having to get new leads and broad audience is not the way to do it. It's smaller ones, drawing them in and then retargeting, and I'll let you take it from there.
So it's funny because I get told a lot of times that I'm really lazy when it comes to working leads. Like, I'm really lazy. And I know a lot of Tristan's face is like, really? Aside from engaging, let's go back to the question. Aside from engaging and following up with stale leads, what else can we do after stale leads? Okay, so here's the thing. If you have stale leads, send them something that is more personal. Send them something that is of value. If you send basic generic stuff all the time to these people, you're going to get basic generic responses, which usually means not a lot. What I would be doing if it were me is I'd be sending personalized, more me-mail stuff. If you have a lead that has been going to your website every day, but has never responded to anything, send them a video. Like, take their name, write their name. Like, I'm literally in the middle of nowhere right now. I'm at a restaurant right now. They take their name, put it up on like a Post-it note, and be like, Grant, who's walking over to me right now, put it on a note like, hey, Grant, and then make a video for Grant is what I would do. Sorry, buddy. So I would make a video for that and basically say, hey, like, I see you've been on the website. I see you've been searching homes. Let me know if there's anything I can do for you. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you. Make it personal, because then you get a response out of it. Someone wants to see you for you. They want to know who you are. People work with who they like and who they relate to. Relate to people. If your thing, my thing is aviation. We all know my thing is aviation. I'm sitting at a freaking airport. My thing is aviation. So when I find other aviators, I have something to relate on. I love mountain biking. My thing is mountain biking. If I find other mountain bikers, I'm going to relate to them. Find a way to relate to your leads. Find something that it is that they like to do. Some people say, well, how do I follow up with stale leads? Shit, stalk them on Facebook. Like, go hop on Facebook, hop on Instagram. You may find out, like in my case, let's say I was stalking Buster right now. Like, let's say I went on there and I found out that Buster really loved aviation. Boom, there's an in. There's a way to talk to them. Okay, I might do a webinar or I might do a video from somewhere where I'm in an airport. Maybe they love mountain biking. Maybe Buster's like a big mountain biker. Okay, cool. I love mountain biking. So great. Maybe I'd take a video while I'm out on the trail. Like, hey, Buster, just wanted to reach out to you, man. I'm out here riding today. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about real estate, mountain biking. Shoot, the mountain biking in this area is phenomenal. Let me go show you a couple of trails. You want to know how to get in front of stale leads? You don't need a ton of accurate information. You get one piece of accurate information, you can work with that. So, Tristan, how do you work stale leads? Because I know California, and California doesn't have a lot of trust. And so when you get leads that come in, Sometimes you get, what was his name? Fernando, or no, he was the football player. Sorry. I know nothing about football. Okay.
Fournette.
Full disclosure.
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. Okay. So Leonard came in. It was Leonard something, right? Right. So Leonard something. You got that lead that came through. Okay. So my question for you becomes, great. How do you build that trust? How do you get in front of those leads that maybe don't give you a ton of information?
Dude, I think it comes down to what you and I do really well, and Buster, I'm assuming too. And that's just to show the people that you actually want to help them out. And that's by giving them what they want. A lot of the times people are trying to schedule an appointment the very first time they come in. It's like, oh, tell me what you're looking for. Do you have time? Are you pre-approved? And it's like, no, you're going about this the wrong way. You give them exactly what they want, and you ask more questions, and they think, whoa, Brett's actually a little different. Yeah, I'll tell you what I want. Maybe he can help me, right? Because we're so used to the opposite everywhere else.
Yeah.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. My parents taught me that at a very young age, and my whole sales approach training is based upon that. If you don't pick up anything else, in the training, that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Where they learn that you care is in that fact finding, asking the questions, going deep, and that's where the sales made is right there.
My favorite thing to tell people, and I promise I won't go too much longer on this because I know we're running out of time. Here's the thing. Everybody tells me that real estate is all about how you market yourself, how you get in front of people, how you follow up with people. I'm going to tell you the trick to real estate. And if you want an honest to God, this is how I believe real estate is. Real estate is a customer service business. And so it's funny because it's a long story, but a lot of people look at my other half, Aurora, and they're like, okay, let me get this straight. Before you were a real estate agent, you were a cupcake waitress. Okay. Literally people have called her a cup. She worked at a place where they sold cupcakes. They were delicious. I got really fat. Let's tip that. Okay. She worked at a lot of really good food places. I got really fat by going to those places. Anywho, point being, she was a phenomenal waitress. Phenomenal waitress. She took what she learned serving people in restaurants, and she took that to real estate. And she did amazing in real estate because she took the same level of customer service that she was giving her clients there, and she brought it into real estate. Everybody goes, well, how did she do so well? She gave really good customer service. She gave a luxury feel to her real estate business. And then what do? Bring in leads, right? So pay for as many leads as you want to. Facebook, Google PPC, Zillow, wherever you want to get your leads from. Doesn't matter where you get leads from. We all love Brian Short, but doesn't matter where you get your leads from. So she took that and then she ran with it, and she gave them phenomenal customer service. How did she succeed? Great customer service. How do I think people could succeed? If you have great customer service. I'm going to give you one more example before I go. I ran into a real estate agent while I was out doing my adventure out here, my recurrency while I was out here, and the coldest, most just off-putting real estate agent I've ever met in my life. I'm like, wow, horrible. And they do no business, and they are very bitter about the industry because they do no business. And it was so much so I like looking at houses. When I go into new places, I like looking at houses. It's kind of a thing, hobby. And so immediately upon reach out to this person, sir, you're pre-approved, right? I've had one conversation. It's 2 seconds long. Hey, I'm looking at this property. I just want to go check out the inside, see what it's all about. So you're pre-approved, right? Not hey, by the way, I'm Bill. Literally first words out of the mouth. You're pre-approved, right? I'm like, no. And they were like, great. We have no interest in showing you that home.
Wow.
Okay. So could I have bought that home? Probably. Do I want to buy that home? Not from them. And no, not here. Cool area, but not for me. So point is, give great customer service. Find out what people's motivations are. Buster does that all the time. Buster breaks down before you know what you want. Buster already knows what you want. I know this from a friend of mine. He basically told me, man, he knew what I wanted. He knew exactly how I wanted to do this. That was really cool. So if any of you have any clients going to Tampa area or anywhere really, Buster, what areas do you work? Just tell everybody where you work, because everybody should just send people to you.
Yeah, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, that whole area, and then expand into that Panhandle area, the Destin, Pensacola area. Soon to be a few other spots in Florida, hopefully.
I have a question here.
Buster will take. Yeah,
it's a great question from Mr. Hamasaki or Mrs. Hamasaki. I'm not sure, but saying, hey, aside from engaging and following up, what's a good way to bring back people from the dead? And any specific text or email or call to action?
Honestly, the truth is, be very honest about where the market is right now. And that is where I would go with it. Be very honest about where the market is. Where is your market going right now? Be very transparent about that. And honestly, right now, a lot of buyers are in a standpoint where they don't know where they want to go. Some buyers are scared because of the price point. Some buyers are scared about how many people are in the market right now. Some buyers are afraid they've lost out on properties before. Be really honest about that with people. Make a video on that. Talk about where your market's at and where it's going. Talk about these kind of things with people and be transparent about it. Don't just be all on the pro side, but give some cons in there too. You got to give a little bit of both. You got to be very transparent about it. But if you're very transparent with people, you're able to have one form of contact with them. Really put out a video, and you can do it in mass. Here's a little trick for you. If you send a bomb video to someone using Chime, you can embed a bomb video in Chime, and then you can actually use the variable for the lead down below. In that video, you do not have to say their name, because most people, if you say it quickly, will not recognize that you did not say their name. They will be reading the email below and they'll see their name in there. So if you quickly say like, hey, Brett over here at ABC Realty, like, I just wanted to reach out to you today and talk to you about the Benton City market, blah, 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 blah. You start talking like that, they're going to read and they're going to be like, oh, it says, hey, Buster. So he must have said my name. So my point is, have a video that goes out and talks very transparently about your market and your situation and what's going on at the hyper local level. You'll be shocked how responsive people are to that. That helps.
I think too, again, a Facebook, audience that you do a video and it's instead of a ground and pound style, it's like the Chris Harden, chat bot, but it's basically a video, but it's message me. And you make it easy for them to message on Facebook, and that a lot of times gets a lot higher response rate.
Okay, so now I'm going to touch on Facebook real fast, and Tristan might lose his mind a little bit on this one. I know you're going to have something to say about it, so I want you to kick back in afterward. I'm actually starting to encourage people to avoid Facebook, and I have a reason for that. If you look at the direction Facebook is starting to go and the direction that they're moving, I might be putting my time, my effort, my energy into other things. Instagram would be one that I would probably put my time, effort, and energy into. YouTube would be something I would put my time, effort, and energy into. But if it were me, I'd probably be backing off a little bit on Facebook. I think over the course of the next, I'd say the last quarter, thank you, Grant. Over the last quarter, I think we're going to lose a lot of our retargeting audiences that we're going to be able to retarget to on Facebook. I think that is going to be going away. And so if it were me right now, I would be putting my focus. Cannot believe I'm not a millennial. So it's very hard for me to say what I'm about to say. I would be putting my time, energy, and money into Instagram, maybe a little bit into Snapchat. Can't believe I'm saying those words. And then finally into TikTok. Again, never thought I'd say those words. But I say that Aurora did a lot of her business on Snapchat. I always thought Snapchat was like hey, I got a cool beer, check it out, woo, do fun things with it. I didn't use Snapchat the way she did. She would go tour a home and she'd snap it while she was touring the home, or she'd find a cool feature and she'd snap that, and she got a pretty big following doing that. So over my head initially, I might have her do some form of something on that. Maybe we should get her on talking about Snapchat.
We should, man. I would love that. And I agree with you. And Candace, Facebook's Pixel is being phased out, but they're just changing it up. They're just changing it up so that you have more access to it through your website. So the Pixel is going to go into the website, and they're going to monitor more of what's happening in your site, which is even better. There is that.
You have Drunk on Social. So if you guys are not part of Tristan's group, Drunk on Social, from someone who enjoys beers and enjoys being on social media, Drunk on Social is like, you basically created a group for someone like me. Soon it's going to be Alcoholics Anonymous for social. But anyways, that's on point.
Quickly.
Yeah, hit it.
Quickly on that too, on the Facebook side of things, and it ties in. If you do, like I just did, Experience the High Country, did it Instagram, Facebook, but also Facebook group. And that's where the money's at right now, in my opinion, the engagement in the groups, the free organic engagement in those small kind of catered groups. And so when you build the Instagram and it automatically slides over, you're getting the credit on Facebook. But if you do a little advertising, food, fun, all that on the page, which the followers are not going to do any benefit for you, really, you're not going to get in front of those followers, but you do the automatic invites on the group. So everybody that likes your page gets an automatic invite to the group a few days later. And I'm building these, 200, 300, 500. Miramar Beach Life, we grew to like 8,000 people within a year on a beach group page. And so I post something on there, I'll get 100 likes and all that, of a sunset, and it's all free. And so I think Facebook groups is still a good way to get in and own that local. I mean, Tristan knows all about that for sure, but those localized groups are still getting some good mileage in Facebook.
Yeah, you know what, to that, if you are going to go the Facebook route and you are going to do groups, Facebook just tweaked their algorithm. So 20% of your feed are groups. So groups show up for 20%. That's a lot.
It's a lot.
So
it's a lot.
Really important, Buster. Great point on that. And
it's
go ahead, dude.
No, I want you. You go. This is Tristan. This is your world.
I was done with Facebook. I was about to add something on the text side.
Go add something on the text side. Do it.
All right. So when it comes to trying to bring back people from the dead, I think one that's worked really well for us is a simple text. And this is to people that have never responded or just kind of died out. It's one that's along the lines of, hey, I'm not sure if you're here this weekend, or you can even put their first name, Brett, I'm not sure if you're here this weekend, but I've got a list of open houses for you. Do you want me to text that or email it to you? That's it. Okay.
All right. So I was going to keep this kind of quiet because I don't talk about this very often. And now everybody and their mom is going to be using this. And Buster touched on it. So since Buster touched on it, I will go on. Here's the best text series I've ever created. Okay,
dude, bring it on.
Hands down. You are going to go into your Chime CRM today. You are going to create a smart plan. The first part of your smart plan is going to be an auto text. And in that auto text, you are going to say, hey, first name, are you still thinking about buying a home in 2021? There's still time, but we need to act quickly. That is day one. Day two, it is let me know. And leave it at that. With 3 dots. Let me know, ... That's it. Buster, I'm going to ask you, you did that. How did it go?
The amount of responses were crazy. I pulled in 13,000 leads from another account that were in that upper echelon search, and I hadn't tapped them other than I think they got one email. Asked Brett, and he's like, hey, try this. And I mean, that was the joke around our office was like, let me know. Everybody said, let me know to each other because we got so many responses from, they're like, let me know. You know about what? It worked well. So
that works really well. The let me know text works pretty well. Those are the things that like everybody says, well, how do you re-engage a dead audience? Simple. If you haven't talked to people in a long time, try that. Seriously, just go through your database today. Try that. What I would do is I would set your filters for your smart plan. Put that as buyer only. It'd be weird if it was a seller. Set that as buyer only. And then make sure it's someone you're not currently working with. If you haven't built out your pipelines and your groups yet, maybe start there then get pipelines and groups that are identified that, let's just say you haven't talked to them in a while. Not people you're currently working. That'd be really odd if Buster and I were looking at houses right now and he got a text from me like, still thinking about buying a home in 2021. You'd be like, yeah, you idiot. We're shopping today. It'd be kind of weird. So get it with people you're not currently like showing homes to, maybe people you haven't talked to in a while. And we all have those. Go sort in your database by last contact. Go back a month.
Brett, that's such a good point, man, because look, I'm starting to look now for another vacation home in Carmel, and I'm not doing that until summer or fall next year. See how far in advance I'm looking? And the worst thing for me would be a call and be like, hey, are you pre-approved? I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I just want to look at homes. Right?
Okay. Question for you, Tristan. What kind of agent would you want to work with?
Like
so you're looking for a home.
You were Buster. you were Buster into my perfect agent.
So time to get licensed in California. No, seriously though, all things considered, like we all are there. Okay. So Tristan's looking for a home. Most of us agents have looked for homes, right? What's the last thing in the world that you want an agent to do to you? Okay. Don't do that to your clients. If you don't want that done to you, if you're going to go shop for a house, and you know what? If you haven't shopped for a house for a while, go shop for a house. Go on vacation somewhere. When you're on vacation, go look at houses. If that real estate agent annoys the hell out of you, don't do what they're doing. Like the guy that I called, Bill. If you're doing that, don't do that. Bill was, are you pre-approved? You haven't even, like, you don't even know my name. What's my name? Tell me my name one more time. They'd be like, I don't know. That's my point. You don't even know my name. You don't even know why I'm here. So my point is, don't be like Bill.
when you take the pressure off of them, it's disarming that you take it off. And that's when we call, it's just calling to see if we could lend any assistance and just coming from that helping. And they say, no, we're just looking. And I was like, well, great. That sounds like you might be in the market, 6 to 8 months down the road. Yeah, probably about 6, 8 months. And it's like, I'm thinking score, that's exactly because I knew what I was getting into when I called. And like, they don't think they're like, they're not right now. They don't think I'm going to be happy about that, but I know that's what I'm fishing for. And so when they say that, I'm happy. And it's like, that's not the time either about the pre-approval. It's not really the time for the appointment. It's like, just to make that initial reach out, assistance, help. I'm here as a resource. No pressure. When and if you're ready to buy down the road, we'd love to help you when the time's right. And so then it's the circle back call that starts talking about the buyer consultation and planting those seeds. And so it's a little bit, I talk about them like they're little hatchlings and they're in the incubator, and you got to nurture them until they're ready, and it takes special care to nurture those little hatchlings. But if you do it right and you do the right follow-up and you get that thing that you go deep in those conversations and you care, a lot of those people are going to end up buying from you.
Yeah.
I agree.
Tristan, I'm sorry for dragging this out.
Dude, this was great. Buster, I'd love to do another session with you where we go deeper into Facebook groups, if you're up for that.
Absolutely. I mean, you're the master. You're the Zen master of the group. So, I don't know what all I might be able to offer, but it's pretty simple.
I think people want to hear that. So between the four of us,
we should do another one of these.
Yeah, because it all ties into the localized smaller brand. Like even again, Brett and I talk about people don't want to list even with the South Tampa specialist. They want to list with the neighborhood specialist. If you can build a little brand around the particular neighborhood and tie in all those tools, especially a free one that gives you a ton of engagement, it's a hell of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we should do another one with Buster on groups. I think we should do another one with Buster on how he uses video. I think we can.
Ooh,
Buster,
maybe we can mix that one up.
I think we should. I mean, honestly, the thing with Buster, I love you to death, buddy, but they generally go long with Buster because he has so much information shoved up there.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm good with that, guys.
Love to share.
All right, guys. Everybody loved it. Candace, Melissa, everybody, thank you so much for being on. The only person we really missed was Adam Frank because he got
is he in the
confused on the
comments?
dates. No, I don't think he's there.
Yeah, he's not in there.
Thanks, Nancy. Buster, you rock. We're gonna have you on again, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys very much.